Okay, we'll start. So today we're going to build the actual robot. So before I start building, so I already built the robot with just one of the bases, but you can like the link that I sent you with all the materials has two frames, and I'm just gonna build one, and then I'll show you how you can build another one on top. Before I start, does anyone have any questions like about the building process? Can you all hear me? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the reply. So how many of you, so out of the five of who are in this meeting, how many of you have all your materials right now?
I have all of mine.
Okay. So would you like to okay. So far 3 out of the 5 have them. So that's great. Thank you. And so could I see how your kits look like? Like, have you started building them?
No.
Okay. So I'll share my screen just for 5 minutes, and then I'll turn my camera so you can see my table. Okay.
Are we building the car today?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very simple. I have I built my robot like I showed you last meeting. So I just took out one of the motors in the wheels, and I'll just show you how you can build just one of the motors, and then you can do the same for the other 3. And we're just doing the motors today. We're going to do the wiring and the setup on Wednesday. Okay. Can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about each of the components individually. So this is an Arduino Uno. So Arduino is just a microcontroller. All it does is that you give a command like a coding prompt, let's say, and then it goes to this board. So this is the power supply, and then this is where you connect it to your computer. And when you upload it to the Arduino, when you upload a program to the Arduino, it will run what the command says. So let's say there's always a default LED on here. So I think the default LED is either this one or that one. But when you let's say we program the LED on the Arduino to turn off and turn on, then that's what would happen if you if you program it correctly. And then if we say let's say we want to run a robot, so that's how we would program it. And so the Arduino is just a microcontroller. You control your robot with the Arduino. So these are the pins. These are GPIO pins, general purpose output input pins, or the other way around, general purpose input output pins. And all they do is that in your programming, you say that I connected an LED or a motor to pin 9, and then you initialize, that's what it's called, you call it initialize, and then you initialize in your programming that one of your motors is connected to pin 9. So that's how all of these pins work. TX and RX will be using these, which is basically for the Bluetooth. This is the Bluetooth module. Where's the TX? Okay, so the T is not showing up, but the TX and the RX is what receiver and transmitter is what the TX and the RX are for the Bluetooth. And then we won't use analog, we'll use power. And so these two are ground, we'll be using the grounds. The 5 volts, we'll be using the 5 volts to power the Bluetooth from the Arduino. And then occasionally we'll put in the 3.3 volts just because that's like a process where you have to take it out. And then when you're powering the robot, you have to take the 3.3 volts wire out. Okay, and then this is the motor control drive. So what this does is that we have 4 wheels, right? 4 motors, 4 wheels, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so so we actually combine 2 motors on this side and then 2 motors on this side, and then we connect it to these two. So the order does not matter. If you connect one of the wheels positive here and negative here, it might turn forward. But if you switch it, it might turn backward. And so the way you wire these is important, because if you're wiring these two the same way and they go back, it's fine, because in the programming you can change them. Like you can say high and low. High means on, low means off. And like you can change them, but make sure when we wire them on Wednesday that these two wheels and motors on this side are like the same, and then on these two side the wheels and motors are the same. Okay, this middle one's ground, and then this is 5 volts and 12 volts. So that's how we'll get power from the battery for this. The wheels take like 6 volts, so we would use the 12 volts here, since the 5 volts is too small for the H bridge. This is called a motor controller, a motor drive controller. It just controls your motors. These are the pins. There's IN1, IN2, IN3, IN4. And so these are jumpers. Enable ENA, ENA, and then ENB. These are enable pins, which is like how fast you can go, how slow it goes. But we're not going to use this, so we're just going to put jumper wires on these two. There's 2 pins here, one here and then one here. So we're just going to connect both of them. And if you have these jumper clips, like they're kind of jumpers, then you don't need jumper wires for these. And then we connect these EN pins to our Arduino. Okay, so the Bluetooth, this is a HC05 Bluetooth module. So you'll just connect it to the Arduino, and then this is the reset button. So there's an AT mode, so it's like at command mode, and then there's a regular mode. At command mode, you can actually know what the name of the module is, what the password is, like what's the password of the module, what's the address of the module, and like what's the connection it has. It like I'll get into detail when we talk about the Bluetooth module. So everyone has this kit, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't have these black gear wheels, but they're easy to connect. They're like connecting the motors, and all it is, okay, so I do have these. So what I was saying is that I have the base frame, but I don't have the second frame. So I'll show you how you can just connect one of the frames, and then you can connect both of the frames. They're very simple and easy. So don't be afraid that you're gonna break anything, because when it comes to just building this, there's just screws and little plastic frames. Okay, so these are the jumper wires. These are female to female wires. No, these are male to male wires. Sorry, these are male to male wires. These are male to female wires, and then these are female to female wires. So these are like when the pins go in, and this is where you have to put the pins inside, like your Arduino or the H bridge. When you have to connect it to ground, that's when you use these jumper wires. Okay, so in this kit, we have 4 batteries, 1.5 batteries, and so that'll be 6 volts. And it's required that the wheels take 6 volts. So you'll connect this to the H bridge. power. So you would connect this battery to the H bridge on the 12-volt side, since 5 volts is too small and 6. Okay, and then you'll have another battery set, and this will be used. You will use this to power the Arduino. So the Arduino has a power cable, yeah. So you'll get your 9 volts battery. Well, yeah, and then connect it to the Arduino right here. So this is power supply, and that's how you would power the Arduino. And the Arduino does not need 6 volts, so it's not a. So that's what you would connect the battery to. The Arduino, the USB data sync cable is all just that. You'll connect this to your computer or laptop and this to the Arduino. That's how you would upload your code to the Arduino. This is the AA batteries, the 1.5 volts batteries to power the motors. And then you'll need the 9 volts battery for the Arduino. That's it. Just a side note, out of the, hold on. Out of the 6 right now, so out of the 6, how many you have an Arduino?
Oh, what?
Out of the 6 that like in this class, how many of you have an Arduino? The Arduino.
Oh, yeah, I have that.
Okay, so how many of you have an Android phone?
I have one.
I don't have one, but we have like a spare. We have like a couple of Android phones like around our house.
Okay,
I have
so
an old Android iPad.
okay, that can work
I
too.
don't have any. I only have like iPhones.
Okay, iPhone or iPad can work as long as it's Android devices. Okay, so you can also buy one like for just for the app and not for anything else. They're very like, okay, so I have an iOS, I have an Android phone. So someone has an iOS. I tried using an Apple iPhone with the MIT App Inventor, but it doesn't work because Apple has high restrictions on created apps unless they're like modified and like checked by Apple. They won't allow the apps to work on Apple iPhones, so it's better to use an iOS. It's better to use an Android device like a phone or an iPad. So for
Yeah.
those of you like if you have an iOS, an Apple iPhone, it's better to use an Android because it will work easier and you won't get errors in your programming.
Would like an Apple iPad work?
No, nothing with Apple.
Did you go to the meeting?
Oh, okay.
Would a Samsung work?
Yes, I think so. I think it's an Android. Yeah, Samsungs are Androids, I think. Yes. Okay, so if you have, does anyone else have any questions? Okay, so I'll stop sharing my screen and then I'll be back in 2 minutes. I'll change my camera so you can see my table and then we can start building. Can all of you turn on your videos so I can see like how you're building your robot or at least your face? Thank you. So like, do you have all your kits in front of you right now?
Yes.
Okay. I'll be back in 2 minutes so that you can see my camera. Okay, so can all of you see my camera, like my robot?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the front side, this is the top side. I named that this is the back side. The battery would have a lot of weight And so the wheels would have a lot of weight in the front. So I said this would be the back side, this would be the front side. So this is the H bridge. I took off the Arduino and the Bluetooth just so that it would be easier to show you the back side. So if you flip it over, all you would have, so in the like Amazon link, there's a kit where there's a battery connected to yours. Is there a battery connected to one of the frames, one of the plates? Pooja, I see that you're opening your box.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there like in one of your frames, so this is a plate or a frame, so in the link I saw an image where that one of the plates is connected to a battery. Is it connected already, or do you have to connect it?
Yeah, we have to connect it.
Okay, so I think if you have screws you can connect it, but you can also just use tape to put it onto the plate. So all you have to do now is that I will zoom in. Okay, so I zoomed into this wheel, this side of the robot. So I just took off the wheels, accidentally broke this. So all you do is that you have one of these plates. Can you see those plates?
Yes.
Okay, so all you do is that one of them goes right here. So one of the frames would go right here. There's like a slot. It's inside, there's like a slot right here. So all you do is you just put it in here for now. And then there's another one. So, and then you put another one right here. So it goes inside out. So whatever the top side is, you put this from the inside. So this is the bottom side. You don't see this back side. So all you do is this, and then you hold one of these. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So it's hard to show you on camera. So then you would get your motor, and then there's these holes on your motors. These are the holes, and that's where you put in the screws. You put in your screws like this. So the holes go into the screws, and then there's washers. Well, these are nuts. And then you screw the nuts once you put these in. Once you put these in. So did your kits come with instructions?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
if this is hard to show you, you can also do that one. But for right now, if you can see, the holes go right here, and that's where you put in your screws with the kit. So if you put in the screws, so it'll go like that. Just so then on the other side, these are the screws. Oops. So this is the these are those screws, and then you just put in the plate right here, and then it'll connect to the base plate. Just like that. It's a little tight, but it's okay. Do you understand how you can just connect these?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you would put in one of the holes. And then you would put in the other one. Okay, and then you would do the same with the other one. All you would do is you would put it through here, but on the inside. So I have this, and then I'll put this on the other side. It's tight so that the washers won't move through that much. Pooja, I have a question. So for your battery, does it have like screws at the bottom or anything, or is it just tape? Like where you can put in a hole or anything for a screw, and then you can screw the battery to the base frame. Okay, so yeah, it does have screws.
Okay.
Yeah, so the holes that Pooja just showed all of us is that there's one way, the front side of the battery is where you put in the screw, and then you put that through the base plate. There's like holes where you can put your battery, and then you would just put a nut on the other side, and then there's your battery. If you don't have holes or anything, you can also just use double-sided tape, which looks like this. I don't have holes for my battery, so this is double-sided tape. There's glue on this side and the other side if you don't have screws. Okay, so as I was saying, I'm done now. I put in both sides, and then I put in my screw, and then all you do is you get this washer. It's very tiny, and then you just screw it on this side. These are nose pliers. You don't have to have them. You can also just have a small wrench just to tighten this. So make sure it's not like loose and wiggling. So it has to be tight. And then you can do the other side. The bottom screw is very hard to tighten because it's like close to the base plate, and so it's like have this one loose, so this has more room to tighten.
I have a question. Does it matter like what like the bottom or the top is?
Are both of the plates the same? There's like two plates,
Yeah,
so are they the same?
yeah.
Okay, then it doesn't matter. It also doesn't matter which is back and which is front. You can just make that your own decision because both of them are the same. So if you can see, the bottom screws are hard to put in. The bottom nuts are hard to put in because they touch with the other plate. So it might take some time. So you can use the pliers for this one. You can just tighten them. One way, which way, have you ever heard of righty tighty, lefty loosey?
Yes.
Okay, so all you do is just righty tighty, lefty loosey. So you just screw the nut right when you're tightening it, and then you screw left when you're trying to loosen it. Do you attach the motor? I'll show you in a bit how you can attach the motor. So all of you have those like black gear wheels. I'll tell you in a bit. They're easy to plug in. All you just do is push into the motor shaft, the white motor shaft on your motors. So I'll teach you in a bit.
How do you put the wheels in?
I'll tell you in a bit. Because first you have to put in the motors, like the actual motors, and then you have to tighten the screws. Make sure that the motors are really tight to the these plates, and I'll show you in a bit. It's very easy. You just, if you're that eager, you just put it into this hole, the shaft. So I guess I can just show you now. So one
Do
of
you
your
have to take the brown papering off the clear off the cake?
you don't have to. It's just there to protect it. You can just leave it if you think you'll leave it in a dust. I think it's better to keep it on. It won't interfere unless it's like really thick or something. It won't interfere with like your screwing or anything.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So someone asked me, how do you attach the motor? So there's a black gear wheel, like it's black. I'll just show you an image. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so if you can see, there's this black gear wheel. That's what it looks like. And in the image, it's connected to the motor on the other side. the wheels connected on one side, the outer side, and the gear wheels connected onto the inner side. The purpose of this is like you don't have to have it connected, but the purpose is just to see which direction it's going. So one motor might be going that way, and then this one might be going this way, and if it's black, you might not see which way it's going. So this is just a way of direction, and it might protect the shaft. The white, I'll change my screen. These, this is the motor. These are called shafts of a motor. These are the wheels. These are the plates. So you don't have to take this sticker off the plates. So these are the shafts that's where we connect the wheels and these black gear plates. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes.
I'll show you how you can attach the motor. So you can see that there's like a hole inside the motor, but inside there's like a lot, like it's like faced in one direction. There's like a square inside. So if you look at the motor shaft, if you can see it. So this is the motor shaft. Mine's like straight this way. So I would connect the motor this way and then just push it in. Okay, there you go. So it snaps in, and then just so that you're testing it, make sure it's like tight. Also, make sure that it has like space so that it can move. It makes like a certain sound when it's done, like when it's spinning. I don't think you can hear it, but that's like the motor spinning, so it has to be very tight. And if you try pulling it, it can't move that much. So that's how you connect the motor. You just have to fit it inside the hole. And then the gear wheels the same way. All you do is you just see which side's flat, and then you connect the flatter sides to it. And that's just how you make it. Does that make sense on how you can attach the motor?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll keep connecting one of these screws that I have the washers on. They're very tight. So how many of you are like done building one of the wheels? It's okay if you're not done. Like I can tell who's done and not. But if you need any help with like the motors or anything, also direction is important for the wheels. So this is the back side. This is what you see on the bottom. When you connect all the motors, these black sides have to be facing into each other, and then the shafts have to be equal so that you can connect the wheels with the box. Like there's a hole in here, and the wheels have to be connected into it. The matter, like so I have my wires here. The way you connect to your wires will be important for next class, but just leave the wires where they are, and then just make sure that you connect your motors correctly.
I have like extra like these like small brown pieces. What should I do?
Can I see what they are? Okay, so did you do all 4 wheels?
Not yet.
Okay, so don't throw them away, because I think you should have like 2 for each of the wheels. The two little frames that I showed you, these that you screw onto both sides. So you should have 2 for each of the wheels. So you should have 8 in total. If you don't have 8 in total, then if you have extra, then it won't matter. But if you have 8 exactly, you need all 8 so that you can screw in all 4 motors. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking. How has all your summers been? How have all of your summers been? Are you enjoying your summer?
Yes. Oh yeah, just yes.
Okay. So how many of you after this class have to do something else? So I can stay in longer, so until like everyone who has their kits can finish during this class, so that if you have questions you can ask me. Is that okay with the ones that are building the robot? Or would you like to log off at 10, at 11?
Well, I have some other classes after 10 o'clock, so
Okay,
I'd have to log off.
okay. Does anyone else want to log off? Okay, so one person said she would like to log off, so we're going to log off at 11 Eastern time. If you have any questions, you could put it in the WhatsApp group, or you could watch a YouTube video, or you could look at your instructions.
I just have a quick question.
Go ahead.
Are we supposed to complete all of that you're doing right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
have all these motors and wheels done. You do not have to connect the wires or anything like that yet.
Okay.
Okay. For next class, make sure you have like all your smaller pieces of components like your Bluetooth and Arduino. Also make sure you have jumper wires, a lot of jumper wires.
Are jumper wires like these wires?
Yes. Can I see that again? Okay, yeah. So once you finish all the motors, all of your kits have 2 plates. So this is the base plate, and then there's a plate on top. So what I would recommend is that if you want your components like your Arduino, your Bluetooth, and your H-bridge inside, so first of all, the H-bridge won't fit on the inside. So if I put a plate on top, so I have the base plate, and then I screwed in these what are they called? They're just like pillars, I would say. So once you're done with the pillars, like you screwed in all your pillars, these are like the pillars, then you could add your other plate on top. So my finger is the other plate, and you would put in the plate, and then after the plate, you would screw it in. So you don't have to put in the second plate. If you would like to put in the second plate, you can. I just don't have a second plate, so I didn't have a second plate. So all you would do is that you would just put it in, and then you could put all your battery, your H-bridge, and your Arduino on top. So the H-bridge is too tall so that it won't fit in the middle of the robot, so you have to put it on top of your second base plate on your second plate if you're going to put in a second plate. It doesn't matter if you have a first or a second plate, like if you have 2 plates or 1, as long as the motors are working just fine and they're like balanced on one of the plates, it's fine. The second plates, like how do you put in the second plate? All you do is that one of these you have like a screw right here. So you put in the screw and then, well, first of all, you hold this and then you put in the screw on the other side and then you do the same thing. So then you put like my hands, the base plate. So all you do is that you put in the plate and then you put in a screw on top and then you would screw it in. But you wouldn't have the battery or anything in the middle because my battery is too big, so it would break the kit and it would break the base plate. And don't put stuff inside unless it's the Arduino, but don't put anything inside the 2 layers because you would be wiring and it might be hard to take it out. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I've been sharing links like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 links on my YouTube channel. Could you and your parents like subscribe to it, please? I can share you the link.
My dad already did.
Thank you. Here's the link. If it doesn't work, you can just tell me. Thank you very much.
Done.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions about the robot? Okay. How many of you screwed in like one of your motors? Okay. So I was able to screw in the last motor, like the bottom screw for the motor. It will just take time for, okay, someone has. Good job. So it will just take time for one of the nuts to go in. Side note, a nut is the actual, I'll actually show you. So the I don't know if you can see it though. So the nut is the actual piece that you actually screw in, and then the one with the long screws is the screw. The difference between, does anyone know the difference between a screw and a nut? It's okay if you don't.
Yes.
What's the difference?
It's like a nut is like the smaller one, and like a screw is like the bigger one.
Yeah, the bolt is just the screw has like a flathead or like a screw, you need a screwdriver to screw it into. So it has like a flathead or like a Phillips head. The Phillips head is like where it has a star in it. So that's a screw, but a bolt is that it doesn't have a screw. It's just like flat, and then you just put it in and then you screw it with the nut. Okay, yeah. So for next meeting, I'll be showing you how you can wire the Arduino and the Bluetooth. So how many of you got your Bluetooth device? That's the Arduino, yeah. Okay. So the Bluetooth, it looks like this. It's blurred out. So I have tape on it, but this is the Bluetooth. You don't have to have this like kit or anything. It just keeps it safe. So if you have it, we'll start wiring it on Wednesday. And then I have a circuit diagram, which basically means how you connect the whole robot and everything. I'll start drawing it. I'll show you how you can draw a circuit diagram. Circuit diagrams is basically how do you connect it? And basically, if I was to tell you how you can connect it without me like telling you, that's like the drawing basically represents what I'm telling you on Wednesday's class. So we'll do a circuit diagram and then we'll start wiring it. So if you have like really strong tape, you should bring tape for next class. Next class, because we would need to connect the motors. So there's the black side of the motor, there's like a black hole on the motors, and then there's 2 pins on one of the sides. So the pins need to be connected with the wires. For your kit, are there wires?
Yes.
Okay. So like wires for the motor. Yeah, okay, that's good. So those wires that Pooja just showed you are the ones where you connect the motor, where you connect it to the motors through the motor controller, and those you tape them to the motor, and then you would put them into the H bridge. We'll just do that next class. Those you have to pay attention, because if you plug it into the wrong one, it might not work. So let's say I have a battery. This is just a question. So I have a battery and I'm connecting it to a motor. I connect the positive to the positive and then the negative to the negative, and it goes forward. But what if I want it to go back? What would you do? Okay, so no one replied yet, so I'll just tell you. So positives connected to the positive and the negatives connected to the negative, right? The positives connected to the positive and the negatives connected to the negative. So like of the battery and the motor is what I'm saying, just as an example. So when I connect it, it goes forward, but I built the robot as I want it to go backward. So what would I do is I would just switch the positive and the negative, and then it would go backward. So it's not, you only have to be careful with being positive and negative when you're connecting things to the Arduino and the Bluetooth and the H bridge. When you're connecting things to the motor, like the actual motor, if you want it to go forward, you would connect it one way, but if you wanted one of the wheels to go backward, you would connect it the opposite way. All it would do, the motor would say, okay, I'm getting 6 volts when I connect the positive to the positive and the negative to the negative. But when I say I want it to go back, so I would connect the positive to the negative side of the motor, and then the negative side of the motor would connect to the positive side of the battery. This is just an example. Like, we'll do that on the robot on Wednesday. Does anyone have any questions?
No.
Okay. So
Wait,
it's,
what are we doing after 11 o'clock?
I'm just going to log off since you said that you have something else.
No, because I just asked my dad. My classes got canceled,
Okay.
so I can stay.
Okay. So if you need anything, I'll stay here like an hour longer. I won't put this in the recording or anything. It's just time for that you can like build your robot. I'll stay here and I'll just do other stuff. So this won't be in the recording, so you can ask like all your questions and then you can finish your robot now, and then we'll wire our robot on Wednesday. if you do have any questions, you can just interrupt. And if you don't have any, you can just leave. If you finish your robot, you can leave too.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for coming.